Are you thinking about uploading your resume to LinkedIn? Now, it could be a great way to get noticed by recruiters, but is that your best move? Today, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of uploading your resume to LinkedIn. Hi, I'm Shelly Piedmont, a former recruiter turned career coach, and I want you to thrive and not just survive your job. So let's talk about the pros of putting your resume on LinkedIn. Well, first, it can give you a visibility boost for sure. If someone sees that you have a resume on there, they likely are going to take a look at it. And therefore, that can give you a leg up on your competition because you're going to have more eyes on your profile due to having that resume there. And that can especially be helpful if you are looking for inbound opportunities and you don't know who is going to see your profile that might have something that would be of interest to you. So just having it there could be helpful in just getting more visibility to your profile. Another thing it can do, especially if you are specialized in a field or if you're going after similar roles that you've had, that can make it really much easier for the recruiter because then if they have those opportunities, they can go ahead and read your resume, decide if you meet the qualifications for the job, and the screening process then goes much quicker so that you can, get a conversation going with that recruiter much faster if they see that you have the qualifications that they are looking for. Another thing that it does is it can showcase your expertise or help boost your brand. Now, one of the things that's really important on LinkedIn is to tell your career story. So that would be kind of who you are, why you do what you do, and what you've accomplished. And your resume is a companion piece to that because it should be telling the same story, just in a different format, but it should have generally the same information. So from a personal branding perspective, it can help you a lot because it can reinforce what's already on your LinkedIn profile. And then lastly, let's just say you're a passive job seeker. You're not actively looking, but you're always interested in opportunities. And so if you wanted to put your resume on your LinkedIn profile, that's just another piece of information that can be helpful. And with LinkedIn profiles, you just never know who's looking. So it could be a recruiter, but it could be a hiring manager, or it even could be somebody who is just passing through, as they say, looking at different profiles, sees yours, sees your resume, and thinks, I could possibly use someone like that. Maybe they don't have a position currently open, but they're thinking about it. So that can bring opportunities to you. If you like this information, hit that like button. I always appreciate it, as well as a subscribe and turn on the notification button. So now let's talk about the cons because there are quite a few. And the first one is what a lot of people talk about, which is there's a lack of customization for that resume. So by necessity, you have only one up there, and that one resume is going to have to apply to many different types of jobs. We always talk about tailoring a resume for a particular job because that helps you be more competitive. But if you upload a resume, you really don't have a chance to do that. And then it can be very challenging if you are looking at potentially 2 or 3 different types of roles. Then how do you put that in that resume so that someone that reads it can understand exactly what you can do? Because what happens is when you try to combine a lot of data for different roles, it tends to be very confusing for the reader. If you are looking at multiple different types of roles as opposed to just one specific role, then uploading your resume can be problematic. Another concern is with confidentiality. You've got a lot of information on that resume and it's going to be open to the public. Well, if you've set your profile to be open, which if you're a job seeker, you most likely want to do. So somebody can come in there and look at all that information. So especially if you have contact information, that could be problematic for you. You might not want people to have that. Additionally, there's an issue of confidentiality and the information you have about your employers that you have on your resume. That is now open for everyone to see. And you might have some issues with an employer or former employer if you're putting any of that data out. So that's something to think about. Another thing that can be problematic is if your resume and LinkedIn profile are written differently, meaning you might be giving mixed messages. Your resume that you put up might be for one type of role, but you've written your narrative, your about section about really a different type of role. Or you're emphasizing things on your resume that you're not emphasizing in your profile. That mixed messaging can be very confusing for people, and so that can be a problem when you upload your resume. Another issue is that someone can come in and just plagiarize your resume. They can just take all that information and even pass that off as their own. Now, I don't know that this is a huge worry, but it is something to think about because people do go through profiles, and it's been known for people to take information and pass it off as their own. So just be aware of that. And the last con is that can open you up to a lot of spam, unfortunately. In our social media age, people see certain things like a resume, and therefore they think, aha, there may be an opportunity for me to sell them something. And so you may find you receive a high volume of spam as a result of that. If you decide that you don't want to upload a resume, there's still a few things you can do to get the recruiter's attention. The first thing you can do is you can actually put your achievements into a featured section. A lot of people don't use the featured section, but it is a real powerhouse and it's higher up on your profile. So you can, instead of uploading a resume, you could just take some of the highlights and put that into a Word document and upload that there. Or if you have a personal website or a portfolio, you can put the link there instead of just uploading your entire resume. Another thing you can do is make sure that you can be easily found by recruiters. And one of the ways to do that is to make sure that you have a lot of the keywords for the type of roles you are interested in your profile. So that would include your about section, your experience section. Doesn't hurt if you have it in your headline, the type of roles you're looking for, as well as in your skills section. These are all great places to put those keywords and help that recruiter who's looking for that type of knowledge, skills, or experience find you. Another thing you can do is turn on the open to work that is available to everyone. So on your profile, you will see that there is a section for open to work. You can turn that on for just recruiters so that only recruiters can see that you are open to work. There's a public option, so you may not be comfortable doing that, but you certainly can let recruiters know that you're open to work. And many recruiters do look at that when they're doing searches to try to find people that they know would be ready to go into a new job. There is another option that you might want to use if you would like recruiters only to see your resume, but no one else. And this is a feature that LinkedIn has that some people don't know about. So if you go to the Jobs tab, and I'm here on the desktop version, but you can do this on mobile, go to your preferences. And in the preference menu, you will have under My Qualifications, Resumes, and Application Data. Click that. And then you can see you have some options, and one here is share resume data with recruiters. It says recruiters can view skill and experiences from your saved resumes when they search and view profiles. So it allows you to upload a resume, gives you versions that you can use, and then you can also turn this on. So that's another option. If you decide to upload your resume and make that public on your profile, here are some things that you should think about. One is make sure you're consistently updating that resume. You don't want a resume from a year ago or 2 years ago to be center on your profile. So if you've got new achievements or you are looking for a specific role and that's where your focus of your job search is, then make sure that's updated. Also, it should go without saying, but check that resume for typos. You don't want to make public a resume that has misspellings or punctuation errors or something like that. That's a bad look. So please don't do that. Another thing you may want to do is also take some of that contact information out. For example, you may not want to have your phone number on it. You might just want to have an email address and your LinkedIn profile. And in fact, your email address could be a specific one just for job search, not your private one, so that you don't have to worry about people reaching out to you that, you probably don't want them to do. Also, when you're uploading that file, make sure it's named correctly. So what I mean by that is it should have your full name on it and also the position that you're looking for that reflects on that resume. That will just make it easier for identification. And lastly, make sure it's consistent with your LinkedIn profile. You can confuse people greatly when they read your resume, then go to read your profile, and it has 2 different messages or even 3 or 4 different messages. That's not helpful. There should be consistency with all of your marketing materials. So whatever you have on that resume, it should be reflected in what you're writing in the about section, the experience section, any of the sections that you're using. You want to have a consistent message, consistent brand. That is what makes you more competitive. So as you can see, uploading your resume into your LinkedIn profile really is going to be dependent on a lot of things. Now, if you have a clear career path or you're in a specialized or niche field, it could make a lot of sense. But it's really going to be dependent on your goals, some of your privacy concerns, and it's going to depend on how consistent you are between what you've written on your resume as well as what you've written on your LinkedIn profile. But don't forget how robust LinkedIn is. It's a social media network. It's a professional one. There are so many opportunities for job seekers on this network. So it's not just about uploading your resume and then feeling like you're done. Nope, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be searching for people, cultivating relationships. These sort of things are really helpful for a job seeker, is how you get known and then opportunities come to you. Have you ever uploaded your resume into your LinkedIn profile? And how did it go? I would love to hear about it in the comments.